Hey everybody, welcome back to another iiRcade Gamedaze Live. I'm your host, Michael, producer here at iiRcade. Happy Friday. I see everybody's going off in the chat already too. Wow, I got a good volume of people watching today. Wow. I don't know. Maybe it's like I'm doing something today, right? Crazy things. So let's get things started. As you can see on the store today, in case you didn't check it out yet, we did launch another toe plant shooter, which is a fantastic shooter, by the way. It's called Hellfire. So Hellfire, getting right into games today, by the way. So in case you were wondering. So Hellfire, we'll show it off in just a second here too. I'll play through it as best as I can. This game is tough as nails, just like Truxton from Toaplan as well. So if you dig Truxton a lot for the leaderboards, Hellfire is going to be even harder to get on the leaderboards. Trust me on that one. The minimum score alone in the game is 50K, and beating that it takes some time. It takes some practice, I would say, too, unless you're some sort of prodigy for shmups. But it is a very different type of shooter. So I'll show it off in just a little bit here too. It's a different shooter because it's side scroller, right? It's side scroll instead of just top down. But two, you don't have any sort of bombs and things in this game. You actually switch between 4 different weapons. So you can either fire forward, you can fire backwards, you can fire up and down at the same time, or you can fire in an X, which is awesome. So you cycle through with that with B and firing with A. Everything else, the Bs you pick up are bonuses, the S's are speed boosts, and then the powers, the P's are for power up, right? So that actually changes your weapon each time. So those are also worth each individual point value. So this game did technically release before Truxton. However, the mechanics, I would say, are harder than Truxton in my opinion. We'll see though, right? We'll see how I do in just a second here when we show it off. So I see a couple of you picked it up already too. Good old Corrupt Neuron's already at the top of the leaderboards, of course, like every time. So I'll have to take him on later on this weekend, maybe if I got time. So we'll see about that. How's everybody doing though? Good? Good? Happy Fridays? Yeah? Okay, King of Shmups. Yeah, we got a lot of shmups. I know we do. I love them. I like my shoot 'em ups. A lot of people are into like competition fighters. I think competition around shoot 'em ups is way different. I like it way more because to me, it's nice to take on the game and not just the player. So whereas like a fighting game to me, sometimes you got some cheese moves. It's hard to balance those things all the time perfectly. So like sometimes you got some cheesy characters with some cheesy moves. So fighters are a little bit different as far as competitiveness, but shmups, they don't change, right? So it's on you if you do bad. So the randomization in these games, it's not really random at all, honestly. So if you fail, it's on you versus, if you're playing against another opponent necessarily. So I don't know. I like the competition for shmups, but that's just a personal preference. Play what you want. This game, of course, for Hellfire does have a leaderboard too. So feel free to compete with the rest of us. I guarantee you, I'm going to be making my way towards the tops at some point when I get time. So maybe this weekend we'll find out, but you know what? Here, let's show it off right now, right? So let me go ahead and switch over to my other screen. Let's add this guy's stream. Let me know if it's too loud or not too. It's hard because I can't hear anything on this side. So if it's too loud, please let me know in chat. Let me know. Let's get things started, right? Let's do a Truxton run. So I'll try not to talk too much during my run. Show off the gameplay, right? So comments right after. This game gets pretty intense, pretty fast. There you go, taking off right out of the spaceship. This is, by the way, if you can see player 2 blinking right there, in case you're wondering, this is a 2-player cooperative game as well. So you can play 2 people at the same time. This is not a switch off or anything like that. This is simultaneous play for 2 players. So if you're looking to play with your buddies, with your wife, with your husband, with your kids, totally can do that in this game. And I highly advise it because this game is brutal. I don't know if you guys can hear me clicking away or not, but I'm spamming pretty heavily right now. Oh no, recorded myself in already. So this game is going to kind of require a lot more maneuvering than typical, right? So it's not quite a bullet hell, but it sort of is at the same time. There you go. So these guys, you can see P for power up. S is going to be speed, so now I'm faster. These little blocks down here are destructible, and they are worth points. If you notice my points are ticking up, keep that in mind if you're competing on the leaderboards. And kill these pyramids too. Those will spawn some power-ups. Oh my gosh. Don't touch the walls either. Definitely don't touch the walls. So you can see actually that slowdown a little bit. So this is actually very arcade specific. This is the game itself, so don't you worry about performance on this. That is actually how the game is played. That one took me a little while to figure out during development, not gonna lie. So yes, you can shoot backwards in this game, which is crazy. It gets me mentally a little bit. There we go. First death. It's all right. I got 3 lives, right? Shoot these guys behind. No. Some tricky situations in this game for sure. Just got to not panic. See, this is when it's rough when you're used to using bombs, especially. If you rely on bombs in shooters, this is going to be rough for you. There we go. Of course, that's my 3rd death. Not too bad for a first run. I'll just A it out. But there you go. So this is Hellfire right here. I'll walk on back over here. I'll switch on over. So there you go. So Hellfire, in case you haven't tried it out, if you've never played that game, a lot of people haven't. So it's a great different variation of shooters, especially. So that switching between weapons instead of using bombs is a way different mechanic than any other games, really. So it's very cool, very fun to use. Genesis, yes, this game did come out on the Sega Genesis, which is kind of awesome. But this is the arcade version. So it is the exact replica of an arcade, right? Questions on Hellfire. Let's go over Hellfire. Anything else? Any other games that we just released these past weeks? I know we've been kind of popping them out with the Toa plans, especially. So Montezuma's Revenge, Moto Rush GT, all that stuff. That's released in the past few weeks. Let's see. Other games by Taito. I see a question from Nick here. Other games by Taito. I can't, unfortunately, talk about release yet, necessarily. So, but we are working on them, yes. Legend Kage, Space Invaders, Arabian Magic from Taito that we have licensed as well, too. Yes, those licenses are still in place. They're not gone. Don't worry. So those games will be coming to you. So don't worry about that. We are working on them very rapidly. Yes. Didn't hear the price, CT Jason. So Hellfire is actually $7.99 on the store right now. Somebody should double check me on that one, but I'm pretty positive that this is a $7.99 game. So it's one of our Toa Plan shooters. It's a little bit of an older game, so a little bit cheaper on the licensing side, so which is great. Love when things are like that. We can keep the prices as low as possible for you guys. Love Montezuma's Revenge. Yeah, in case you haven't picked up Montezuma's Revenge, try it out. For $2.99, for $3, it's well worth it, especially if you're like a arcade historian or like a game historian like I am kind of. It's amazing. So, and you can play both the retro and modern versions of Montezuma's Revenge within that same version, right? You can switch between whenever you want. All right. Working on game. I can't talk about the games that we're working on, of course, per usual. It's all right. No other questions on Hellfire. Awesome. Easy for me. But you should definitely check out Hellfire. Honestly, as somebody who likes shoot 'em ups, I'm on like most of the leaderboards for shoot 'em ups too. So I love shoot 'em ups. I like the competition. But Hellfire is a banger, 100%. If you've never tried Hellfire, that mechanic, I'm telling you, between switching 4 weapons instead of using bombs is a nightmare sometimes, but it's also a blessing in disguise, right? So once you get used to it, it's a cool game. Again, it's only 2 buttons too. It's only firing and switching your weapons. So it's not complex. Don't worry about that. And again, the bees are not bombs. So don't get confused with every other shooter in existence, right? The bees are not bombs. The bees are bonus in that game. I think they're 2,000 points exactly. Question from Mikey J. Let's see here. Did you beat Montezuma's Revenge yet? Yes, I have gotten through it now, actually. That one I actually did at home, weirdly enough. It's work for me, right? How does shooting work in I think I just explained shooting. I don't know. I can answer it again, though. Shooting in Hellfire works. You can either fire forwards, backwards, up, down, or in an X is how you can fire. And then your weapon power-ups that you pick up, the Ps that you pick up, will change. So you switch between missiles, lasers of different variations. There's a bunch of different ones that you cycle through. I think there's 4 that you cycle through as far as weapons goes. It might be 3. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, you do cycle through weapons. When you pick up the power-ups, it does do a cycle. So sometimes it's advantageous, sometimes it's not. So, but it does award you points. I'll tell you that. But yes, that game is tough. I would say Hellfire is harder than Truxton, honestly, in my book. But that could just be me. My brain doesn't like to work necessarily with the switching of the weapons all the time. That's why. And in Truxton, I don't have to switch my weapon if I don't choose to, right? So that's kind of where Truxton's a little bit nicer. But Hellfire, you gotta switch up that weapon sometimes, or else you're gonna get into the worst situations. Some of the bosses too, the first boss in that game, say it actually requires you to shoot with the up and down beam specifically because you can't hit it forwards or backwards or at the angles even. You have to be directly under or above the first boss in order to actually hit it in Hellfire. So that's why it does make use of all of those weapons in the game too. It forces you at some point to switch. So in case you're somebody who just wants to try to cheese it and sit through, it's not possible. All right. What other questions am I? Online play is still slated for Q1. Yes, that is correct. Team is working hard on that. And again, when that's ready to launch, we'll let you know. Don't you worry. We'll let you know what kind of games are coming right away out the gates, what kind of features to expect, maybe what kind of features are down the road, things like that. Again, that's going to release in a rough state. So it's going to release in an alpha state just to make sure that online's working for the games themselves. So we want to make sure that the games are good to go in online so that they're playable, so that they're good, they're running smoothly for everybody on both ends of the spectrum, right? On both ends of the seaboard, Canada, all that jazz. So making sure you guys can all play together. And then we'll start rolling out those fun additional features for you with it, right? So we'll always continuously kind of keep growing that throughout the year especially. So that's a big focus for this year. 12-playing games are all good. Yep, Shampoo Swan. 12-playing games, you cannot go wrong with the 12-playing game. They're just like iRem. Every single iRem game that we have is also a banger on the system. If you are in doubt, you can always search on the store by iRem or by 12-playing, and you can find all the games that we have available currently by them. So, and there are still 12-playing games that are unreleased that will be coming out pretty shortly. Does Hellfire have R-type bosses? Kind of, yeah. It does have bosses and things like that too, and a lot of different mechanics. You could say it's comparable-ish to R-type too. There's no charge weapon is the difference. Like R-type has the charge laser, which is, pretty iconic for R-type, as well as the ball. Oh my gosh, I forget the turret pickup. I forget what to actually call it, but yes, that's specific to R-type. But Hellfire has its own little caveats, right? Like, again, switching between weapons instead of using a bomb. There is no safety bombs in Hellfire. So let it rain Hellfire. There you go. Hellfire's a thinking man shooter. Interesting way to put it, but sure, you can think about it that way. So we just talked about online. Skip that question. Ronsky, I didn't see your question. I'm sorry. They don't always populate, so keep that in mind. I don't necessarily see every question. When I watch later on, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a cool question. It doesn't always populate here, unfortunately. So you can spam it again, and I can hopefully see it. Gets here, yeah. Corrupt Neuron, speaking from the top of the leaderboards right here on Truxton now again, taking my spots. Him and Mad Dads taking Truxton, and now king of the board on Hellfire right now. So yeah, it gets hairy quick if you're not switching to the right weapon in the direction. Yes, 100%. You got to dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge. So yes. Any other questions on Hellfire I can answer right now? Or Truxton, other games that released. Montezuma's Revenge, if you're struggling, with a 9-level system, things like that, can help out. I have no idea if Toa Play made Gyrus. I'd have to look that one up, honestly. There's a lot of games that go through my head, like literally thousands, so sometimes I forget. Yeah, Vanguard vibes. I could see that, Paul. Vanguard vibes for Hellfire. What's harder, Truxton or Image Fight? Truxton. Truxton's harder than Image Fight for me. That's a preference. But yes, there's no cheese in this game. All right. Let's keep moving. Let's go. I got some housekeeping things to do, of course. So like we talked about last week, and I'll make a new post again too for Facebook groups and things like that, Twitter, all that jazz. Keep in mind that end of this month, so March 30th, 31st, there's a 31st in March, right? Am I going crazy? Is March end on the 28th? 31st. All right. 31st of March, we're going to lock in those nicknames, right? So make sure that whatever nickname that you want assigned to your account is there. It's going to be yours for life, right? So it's just going to work just like a gamer tag on Xbox, PSN ID for PlayStation, things like that. Exact same principle, right? So for both global leaderboards, especially, and online play too. So this is your display name, right? This is the name that you're going to be known by on the leaderboards and in online play, right? So people can find you, they know you, claim your throne, right? So get your name now. If you don't know where it's at, go to account. If you don't have one already, it's gonna spam you for it until you put one in anyway. But do fill one out. It's under account, and then right there is nickname. Change that. If it's not showing up on your actual machine, again, in settings information, there's right there, it says nickname. If that's showing up blank for whatever reason, again, this was a feature added sort of later in our life cycle from last year. So there was a little bit of a bug with that still. That's kind of still being fixed. But if it's not showing up there, simply change your nickname on the store, on your account, and then change it right back. Nobody's going to take it in that time. Don't you worry about it. And then you're good. It should show up on your machine instantaneously after that under settings information. So as long as it's showing up on your actual device there, you're good to go. It'll show up on leaderboards. It'll show up for online play, all that jazz. So just keep that in mind. So the 31st of this month. So keep telling people that. Lock it in. If you don't have the name that you want or you want to change it, go for it, right? Now is the time. All right. Any questions on that I can answer to with nicknames? It's pretty self-explanatory, right? I would say for the most part, but I don't know. Not for everybody. All right. Again, I can't talk about games that aren't out yet, so I can't answer those kind of questions. Let's see. This is an interesting question. So here's a question for you. Can you bring Genesis exclusive games like Musha to this? Is that a hard conversation? Depends. Everything is licensed different. Every game is an individual process. Usually, it's not all the time just by talking to a company, getting a game. It's not always about just throwing money at a company for licensing either. There's a lot of different things. Everything's different for licensing. You never know what's going on in their development cycle with their teams. If they're able to, if they actually have the rights to it, you never know, right? So licensing is a tricky beast. So I can't really talk on things like that for like Genesis exclusives. If we can license Genesis exclusives, I don't know off the top of my head. Are we looking into things like that? Of course we are. Yes, 100%. Games is what we look into. Generally speaking, that's what we look into day and night. So trust me on that one. It's not always the easiest process in the world. You'd think it would be. It's just not, sadly. I pre-order my Soul Calibur cab. No, but Jeff, hopefully your Mutant Football League cabs should be either at home already or should be there extremely shortly. So yes, NFL cabs started arriving on people's doorsteps. It's finally over. The endeavor of shipping is finally over because they've been stuck on the ocean for so long. I know. Thank you so much for patiently waiting on those MFL cabs, everybody who ordered one, if you're in the chat or watching right now later on today. So thanks so much for being patient on that one too. I'm glad that you can finally have some fun, right? If it's your first cab especially. Thanks so much for waiting. We super appreciate it. So sorry that it took so long. Unfortunately, shipping is just a nightmare, honestly. But yeah, I'm glad they're finally there and there. It's a spiffy cab. I've got one in the other office still from the prototype days. So it's a good looking cab. I love it. And good news also for those who ordered Toe Jam and Earl cabs. So the limited quantity of Toe Jam and Earl's cabs was like 102. Ship those out too. Those are actually finally here. So those are going to be going out very soon as well. So if you got a Toe Jam and Earl cab waiting on, that will be here extremely shortly, like probably next week. Honestly, you should see a tracking number for that. Cool. So great news on that one too. Sydney Hunter is still stuck in shipping fun. So Sydney Hunter, unfortunately, I don't have a date for you. If you did order one of the shipping Sydney Hunter cabs as well too, unfortunately, but they're coming. They're still on their way. They were made, they've been manufactured for a while. They've been shipped for a while. It's just we're waiting on them to arrive here at our ports in LA, right? So shipping lanes are fun. But yeah, so good news for everybody who ordered the special cabs too. And of course, Mayhem is now in manufacturing. So Mayhem was locked in on Sunday. So it's too bad if you missed it. I'm so sorry. We tried to alert everybody as much as possible. But yes, the Mayhem Brawlers cab was sold out and is now in manufacturing. So those will be coming, in the upcoming months now, just barring shipping, honestly. So manufacturing times don't take us too long, honestly. All right. Any questions on any of that stuff? I guess that's just sort of informative, right? So, all right, cool. That's it, right? That's it for today. We'll head home, call it a Friday. I'll see you all on the trucks and boards, the Hellfire boards. Yeah. All right. That seems about right. All right. Until next time. That's it. You guys want anything else? That's it. Cool. Mutant Football League. Yeah. No, I don't know. I have no information on Mutant Football League right now. There we go. Let's talk about this King headline. All right, cool. We can talk on that. I guess that's a good one to segue into. So, King headline, right? So, what could that be, right? Is there King in the title? Let's play it out right now, too. Here you go.
The story of how I became king is so long that I can't tell it in one night. But I'll tell you as long as I can about those days filled with danger and treasures.
That's right. Rastin is back. King Rastin himself. So Warrior Blade Saga, Warrior Blade Rastin Saga Episode 3. It's a long title, I know. So this game is releasing today on iiRcade. Actually, let me, warm up these things right now. Get the servers ready for everybody downloading it so it doesn't get destroyed. Those things. Drink its coffee. So yes, we are launching Warrior Blade Rastin episode. No, I don't even know the title anymore, too. Warrior Blade Rastin Saga Episode 3. There we go. So this completes the series for Rastin. So we have Rastin 1, 2, and 3. So 2 is also called Nastar Warrior. That's the title that you'll see here in the US. And especially Rastin 3 is called Warrior Blade is the actual title, right? So, Warrior Blade Rastin Saga Episode 3. It's a mouthful, but it's Warrior Blade. That's what most people refer to it. A lot of people haven't played this game. There's a good reason for that. So Warrior Blade actually only ever released in Japan, right? So the saga was actually fun fact, fun history, right? This game was actually supposed to be a licensed Conan game. Didn't quite make it on that one. So they still released Rastin as Rastin instead of Conan. So Rastin series, that's why there's a lot of similarities, of course. But they kind of just kept the saga going, even though they didn't have the licensing and stuff like that in place. They were just like, this is a fun game, let's go. So they made Rastin 2 after Rastin, and then Rastin 2 did okay. Rastin 2 was fun because you could do multiplayer, right? So co-op. Now, after that, Taito and everybody else, they just kept wanting to do beat 'em ups and things like that, so they kept going. So 1991, they released Warrior Blade in Japan. So let me show you actually a little fun thing here. So here's actually the original flyer for Warrior Blade. And you can see at the bottom left there is the cab for this, right? So here the Arc of Destiny, go again into the hero's journey into remote lands. So Rastin 3, big, heavy fantasy vibes, of course. But you can see the bottom left there. That's the arcade machine, right? So I can't point ever. So it's right here. Here we go. So this is it. Closer up, right? So this is the official Warrior Blade machine. Warrior Blade Rastin Saga Episode 3 machine that released in Japan, right? So this thing is a beast. You can see it right here. This is a dual screen game, right? So just like other classic beat 'em ups like that, like the 6-Man X-Men and things like that, this came out with 2 big old CRT TVs inside of the machine itself, right? This is a massive machine. So it is ultra wide, essentially, right, for a game. So that is how the game is on our machine. But of course, we don't have 2 monitors, right? So unfortunately for that, it is an ultra wide game. But trust me on that one, it doesn't really bother you. It feels like you're getting sucked into a movie the entire time anyway, too. This game is outstanding. So it's much different than Rastin and Rastin 2 especially. Warrior Blade is its own monster. As you can see from the video there, too. Very high, great graphics and things like that. Sound is amazing. Soundtrack's amazing. It does have voiceovers, and they're in German mostly, which is interesting. A lot of the taglines are German. But yeah, so here you go. That's the original machine, and I'm telling you, this thing is a monster. Like, it's massive if you ever see one in person, which is hard because Japanese only, right? But who knows? I'm sure some have made their way across the seas at this point in time, and somebody's got one. So I would love to see one in person as well. So Rastin 3 questions actually here. I'll look at the chat real quick before I keep moving on to Rastin. I get really excited about this game. This game is phenomenal. This game is so much fun to play. If you like beat 'em ups especially and high-fantasy themes and stuff, it's perfect. It's amazing. Rastin 3 is a lot of fun. Yeah. love the big characters in it. Yeah, there are some big characters in it. It's true. I'm telling you, the art in this game is amazing. Plus, you get different things. It's not just beat 'em up. You get to ride on horseback, and that's a different stage. You get to ride on dragonback when you're flying around too. That's another stage, right? There's also 14 different levels in this game too. It looks like there's only a couple due to the map. However, there are unlockable bosses and levels in this game too. So there is a lot of replay value. Trust me on that one. Almost every playthrough I think I do a different thing. I don't know what exactly I do, but I've done something where I trigger a different boss, right? So I'm like, this is a different part of the game that I've never been to before. So that's kind of fun. So there is some replayability to this game especially. And yeah. Questions I can answer on Rastin 3 right now. Warrior Blade. All right, cool. I'll keep going on it. We'll show it off. I'm going to play it right now in a second here. I feel like I had something else to show off. Here we go. Yeah, so on top of one, you get to pick from 3 different characters. This is a co-op game as well, so you can play 2 players simultaneously on it. There are 3 different characters to choose from. There's Rastin, the main warrior, right? You've got Dewey, who's a rogue, so he's like a ninja rogue kind of guy. So he's quick and has less power, but he's faster and does different things. And then you've got Sophia, who is more magic and range kind of. I think she's got a whip at most times. And Sophia's pretty neutral, I would say. So she's kind of a mix of everything. Rastin's like the tankier barbarian swinging a sword, right? Dewey's the sly ninja. And then Sophia is the quick magic user for the most part, right? So different variations of characters. You can see them in the game as well. They have different power levels, different speeds, and different health amounts. So you can see all that. Okay, but this game also lets you pick your path. That's what I wanted to go over. Here we go. I found my slides. Good times. So here's the map. So after you beat the first little tutorial intro level, it actually shows you the map. So you can actually pick which of the paths that you want to take. To beat the game, you will have to take all 4 paths. So the ordering doesn't necessarily make a difference, except for the fact that the ordering can affect the special and bonus bosses that you can unlock during that run through, right? So different paths, taking the castle one time as the first path versus the tower the first time on another path. These can actually unlock other things. So keep that in mind. But otherwise, you are going to play through all the maps. And the main bosses always stay the same. However, the other bosses that you do unlock don't stay the same, right? So you have to actually unlock them, which is cool. Is there a respawn checkpoint in Rastin? No, there's no respawn checkpoint. However, you can just keep continuing on endlessly. It's a quarter munching game, right? So you can keep continuing on. This isn't like a global leaderboard kind of game either. This is strictly kind of a beat 'em up. All right, let's show it off, right? Let's not talk about it. Let's show it off. Yeah, it continues. I mean, you can continue on with quarters, right? So you just keep putting in coins. That's it. So this was a game that was made to eat some quarters. I can tell you that. All right. Let me pull up the other screen here, add to stream. Again, let me know if my sound is too loud on it. I have no idea. I can't hear it on my end. So let me know in chat if it's too loud or not, and it'll take over. So you can see here, there you go, there's Sophia right there. Let's actually crank this up a little bit more at least. So player 1, you can choose your character here. So Sophia, you can see on the bottom left there, speed, power, and range. So she's got the crazy range. You've got Rastin, who's got medium range, medium speed, but he's got a ton of power. And then you've got Dewey, who's super fast, kind of okay power, and terrible range, right? So let's go as Rastin. Of course, I'm going to play as Rastin. Who doesn't want to play as Rastin right now? Just on a deep road. And yes, again, this is 2 players simultaneously. It is best enjoyed with a friend. It's way easier with 2 people as well. So if you want to challenge, play alone. The thing about Rastin is that you're actually, I guess you're a hero, but kind of not. You're really just like going around the land collecting treasures. So you don't really care about the people or anything like that. You're just going about the land, doing your thing, getting that loot, right? So you got some A button right here too. B is going to be your jump, and you do have like different jump attacks. And then your C button is going to be your special. And each character has different specials that they can use. Let's see, count all the things. All right, so this is the map that I was talking about. So I can pick right now which way I want to go, right? So do I want to go to the castle, the tower, the ship, the palace? Any preference? Spam me in chat right now. Which way do I want to go? You got 9 seconds. Let's see if I can make it in time in this one. All right, chat didn't make it in time, at least on my end. We're going to the palace. All right. play mountains. All right, let's go. So as you can see, of course, this is way different than the previous level, right? So sliding mechanics, jump, use my special, throw some rocks, which is Rastin's thing, dodging different rocks, different enemies here. You can pick up enemies in this game too. I can't while I'm sliding, but you can like walk and you can chuck enemies like that too. Those classic kind of beat 'em up mechanics. Your special actually, you can see I don't have like a special amount or anything like that too. If I press C right now to use my special, it actually just uses my health. So there you go. Eats your health. So you do have to be very careful with the timing. So that exclamation point means that something dangerous is coming up, and typically it means you got to jump. Same thing with like when you're riding horseback or on a dragon, things like that. You'll see that as the alert. So here we are. So you can actually shoulder through things as well too if you're sprinting, which is what I like to do as Rastin at least. If I walk up close to this guy too, I can. Oh, maybe I can't pick up these guys actually. Let's keep running forward. So here we go. So this is one of the different bosses here. Of course, he's going to throw the rocks at me. Got to beat him up. I don't think that I can hit the knives. Oh, you can. You can deflect the knives. Oh no. Run out of health here. All right, so he melted me. That's fine. But I'll show you how to continue, right? So put a credit in. There you go. So I can continue on. I can select a different player in case you do want to select a different player. You can just shoulder bump this guy over and over again too. I like doing that. There you go. So again, this game actually has 14 different stages that you can unlock. And of course, here's the story going on. There's a full story and everything else. And yes, it is ultra wide because this is technically split screen. So we removed the line. So there's clearly no line between it. So it's still one playable screen, right? But it is, technically speaking, the original game is two screens. So it is an ultra wide game. Aston beating up the natives, of course, on the rafts. All right. So we'll probably leave it here for right now, too. You can see this game it's epic. I love this game. Super fun, super entertaining. Plenty of replay value as well, too, especially for a beat 'em up. It's great. Just move back in here. All right. So, yeah, in case you've never played Rastin 3, Warrior Blade, Rastin Saga Episode 3 specifically, now's the time. Available on iiRcade in, let's find out. It's available right now on the store. So there you go. It's right at the top of the store. Just made it live right now. This game is honestly amazing. If you like beat 'em ups, and especially if you're like a big like fantasy nerd like me, it's great. It's a good time. Especially, I'm telling you, best enjoyed with a friend or a family member. The co-op is way easier in this game than single player. But if you want the challenge, single player is where it's at, right? Questions, comments, concerns. What can I tell you about Warrior Blade Rastin Saga Episode 3 that you don't already know? I don't want to give away too much of the story, so I left it there. Drop it now. Kevgret, it's out right now on the store. It is officially out right now on the store. I just dropped it right now after gameplay. So if you're looking for it, it's available right now. It's $12.99 on the store. It does complete the entire saga on iiRcade for Rastin, right? So we've got everything now for Rastin, which is amazing. Whole series. Put my banner back on. Got to get my boy back down here. All right. If you had questions during that time when I was playing, I couldn't see them. So spam me again now. There you go. It runs super smooth. Yeah. We optimize this game heavily for our system, of course, like we do all of our games to make sure it plays properly. So yes. And of course, if it didn't play properly, Taito wouldn't approve it anyway for us, right? So this is an officially licensed Taito game. So shout out to Taito, just in case they're watching. Fun to work with. I like them a lot. They've got some bangers of games, including the entire Rastin saga that they let us have on iiRcade, right? So there you go. I always point to my machine that's over here, thinking that you guys know that I'm pointing to my machine. I'm going to start pointing back there again. I swear, I promise. And soon enough, I'll start playing again on this one. So again, I don't like when the light's on camera because the marquee looks so washed out on the camera, at least on my garbage camera that I got here, I guess. So I want to show it off properly, I guess. That's usually why I keep it turned off. But yes, it is working. It's working just fine. Looks great in person. In case like MCap's in chat, he's seen them already too. So you can ask him what it actually looks like. Congrats on the smooth and nice frame rate. Yeah. Thank you. This game did take quite a bit of work. This is why it takes a little while to release these games, right? Especially being the dual monitor, the two screen, getting rid of the split down the middle, and then making sure that it just runs properly, right? So I think we actually had a crash in this game at one point. We fixed. Anyway, so how do you unlock the bosses? So there's different ways. You kind of got to look them up. I don't know them all off the top of my head. Sometimes it's getting a high enough score on the level. That's typical, is so that you're not running through a level. So I'll put this back up. So usually it's just getting a high enough score is how you get to those points in the level. So you have to have a high enough score by that point, by a specific point in the level to unlock that boss. And then it'll continue on after that, essentially to the next, and then the final boss for the stage typically. Again, it's the cool thing is that it feels like you're playing a movie to me all the time. One, because the ultra wide, but two, because it just keeps transitioning that way, right? The close-up camera angles with characters and things, the horseback riding to the dragon riding to the downhill sections to the climbing up the castle towers to the falling ship and stuff when you're fighting the little Kraken guy. Wizard Kraken, I don't know what his actual name is. I like to call him a Wizard Kraken. It's really what he is. Wizard, he's not even a Kraken. It's like a wizard crab octopus guy. You'll see. He's in the video, right? So let's see. Please allow Resident 3. First play online. It's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. I'm not even going to get your hopes up on that one. It's not going to be the first ones that are online, for sure. Game like Raston is pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy to run, honestly. So glad that it's working out, though. So sure. Again, all of our arcade games at some point are planned to be online, yes. So eventually. Right out the gate, though, it's not going to be Raston 3, unfortunately. I'll think about it, though. I'll think about how early it comes in the cycle of things. Jolly Green, how's the Hellfire game? I played it already. You could have seen me play it at the beginning of this episode. It's fantastic. Again, if you like games like Truxton and you like just really hardcore shooters, Hellfire's great. No bombs in this game, so no bombs to save you. 4 different firing mechanics that you just switch through with B instead of bombing. So, yeah, Hellfire. I highly recommend Hellfire. I will actually be playing this weekend as well too, and probably some Raston 3. But I played a lot of Raston 3 honestly already too. I've seen most of the bonuses, the bonus bosses and things. But I do like that game a lot, so maybe I'll play it again. All right, other questions that I can answer in the games today. Let's see here. I don't think Mad Dad's on the leaderboard for Hellfire yet, too. I know he took my high score in Truxton. I needed to beat him, but then Corrupt Neuron took it again for #1 spot, so I'll get back on there. Stay away from Wizard Crack. Sure. Yeah, it's fair. Also, thing I didn't mention about Raston 3 for Warrior Blade, there are wizards that you can actually pick up as well, too, which is fun. So you get cooperative companion wizards, and you actually have to activate them by hitting them, which is kind of interesting. So chop them with your sword, slash them with your daggers, throw some magic spells at them, weirdly enough. That's how you activate your wizard. You beat the old man, which is a weird mechanic, I guess, but that's how it goes. So the wizards can cast a couple different spells. They can cast the Freeze, which ice blocks all enemies on the screen currently. They can also cast a fiery howl of meteorites that rain down fireballs from the sky. And then the other one is the eyes, which I forget what the eyes do, honestly. It's probably like a lightning thing, if I remember correctly. Gotta remember that one. But yes, there are 3 different things that the wizards can cast. So there are different color variations of wizards. That's how you can kind of tell. Let's see. Yeah, again, I can't answer things that aren't out yet. I'm so sorry. It's not going to happen now. I can answer things about games that are already out or software that's already out. It's like in Golden. Yes. Thank you, P-Dubs. It's like in Golden Axe when you have to hit a midget to get your option. Yep. You have to kick your wizard to get him to attack someone. Yep. NFL cap delivered. Great. I'm happy. Your NFL cap's delivered. You can play Raston 3. You can play Warrior Blade Raston Saga Episode 3 this weekend now. There you go. I Don't know about another Game and Brew coming up right now too. There's nothing planned on the horizon yet. Pretty busy over here. Fortunately, I just don't have time to plan events right now. It's kind of outside of my scope. I would love to, though. It's not that I don't want to. All right. Thomas B, here you go. Like Raston, doing title is a 3-screen game. It's as far as I know, it's only dual monitor. It's not 3 screens, but maybe I'm wrong on that. It is gigantic. I'm telling you on that cabinet, but I'm pretty sure it's just 2 giant TVs in there. So from a technical standpoint, is it possible to do this if/when Darius comes to iiRcade? I can't answer that one. Please fix Montezuma. There's save points in Montezuma. So that's how the game works. I can't change that. That's not up to, that's how the game is made. Got to play the game how it's made. That's how it goes. There are save points in Montezuma, though. The checkpoints are the levels, right? So you can jump in from the stages. So once you pass stage 1, you get to stage 2, you can start from stage 2, no matter what, even if you keep dying. Stage 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. There's 9 in Montezuma. But yeah, that's not up to us. That's how the game is made. That is the design of the game. There's nothing to fix there. The game is not broken. It's working as intended. So Raston 2 available. Yeah, Daryl, in case you missed it. Yeah, the entire Raston series is available on iiRcade. I'll pop them up probably in the features section later on today. But Warrior Blade is up there right now in the recently added game section right at the top. So, but I'll add the other 2 for Raston 1 and Nastar Warrior is Raston 2. So, but yep, the whole series, you can play it all. I highly suggest the first one, especially. Second one is fun for co-op play. And then the third one is just an absolute banger and feels like a movie to me. Let's see here. Do we take requests for games? Yeah, sure, all the time. I see what you guys post all the time. You think I don't see Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or our Instagram, everything that we got as far as social feeds. We also have an email that you can send things to, right? But yeah, it's not about requesting the games. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. We know what games you want. Trust me on this one. It doesn't mean that we can just magically get them. So, and again, it's not always about just throwing money at a developer. That's not how it works. It's not how licensing works. Sometimes, sure, but it's not always the case. It's usually more often than not the case. So, my favorite Raston game by far. Yeah, P-Dubs, I agree. If you've played Raston or you're a fan of the series, this is 100%, I would agree, the best one in the series, especially best bang for your buck. I love this game. If you like beat 'em ups, other games, fantasy tropes and beat 'em ups, this is it. This is like cream of the crop kind of thing. And again, it does have a lot of replay value just because there are those hidden features that even I didn't know about half the time until we unlocked them. We, did so much research on this game and things like that too. And it was like, oh, this is how you do that. That's how you do that. Okay. Take some digging too, because again, this game only released in Japan. It's not the most famous of games, unfortunately. It just kind of fizzled out. Marketing happens. Things happen. So that's why a lot of people just don't know about this game, but does not mean that it's not a fantastic game. So Journey. Why do you want Journey now? What? I think I have to talk to the band about licensing rights on that one. That might be tricky. Raston 3 best games. Yeah, again, it's great. It's great. Don't forget to kick your wizards. Correct. Kick or hit your wizards. That's right. That's what Warrior Blade teaches you. Hey, Jim, yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Unless there's any other questions and things like that, we'll call it a day. It's been 45 minutes. Wow. It's a quick one today. Quick, almost hour going on already here for me. All right. That's it. I got nothing else for you guys today. I really don't. Nothing's sitting up my sleeves. I'm not a magician. So glad to finally have the entire series out now on iiRcade for Raston, Nastar Warrior, and Warrior Blade Raston Saga Episode 3. Get them all now. As well as, again, Montezuma's Revenge came out last week. Hellfire came out today, too. If you're looking for another amazing shooter, especially classic shooters, it's fantastic. Hellfire's good. Truxton's out, of course. Get on the Truxton leaderboards with me. We're competition heating up for Truxton, especially. This is why I like the Truxton board, especially. Trucks is out. Motor Rush GT. Oh my gosh, there's a lot that came out this month too. The Bash games. Hot Shots Tennis. Rim Rockin' Basketball. Ninja Clowns. Those all came out this month too. Well, within the past 4 weeks. How about that? There you go. So go ahead and check them out. They're all in the recently released section at the top of the store, right under the featured games. So, and again, the featured games will change, and get ready for your Rastin series attract mode, because of course I made a Rastin series attract mode, and I will be pushing that to your machines very shortly. So enjoy. It'll be there for, the week until it goes away. So I hope you do like it. We had a good time with that one. Plenty of other attract modes too in the future, of course. But until next time, I will see you all next week, and I'll play you out with let's go with some Rastin. Let's go with some more Rastin, of course. Let's go with the series, right? There you go. All right. Thanks for tuning in. See you all next week.
Yeah.